Good morning, true crime friends. How y'all doing? Y'all, it was an absolutely explosive day in the Adelson trial yesterday. Donna Adelson, trial day 2, family reunion. All the kids were on the stand. I was positively beside myself. We're going to get into it. But first, you know what you need to do. Have you done it yet? Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share out this madness that I call a YouTube channel. Me and you, we're going to get to 30,000 subscribers together. Okay, so picture it. Leon County, we're in the courtroom, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be a good day. Rumor has it that Wendy is gonna be on the stand. Let's see what happens, right? But first, they call up this investigator from the prosecutor's office, and I was like, I just want to see Wendy. Why is he here? But apparently on Friday, the judge was like, hey girl, hey Georgia, you know all those emails that are terrible that Donna wrote, you have to prove that Donna saw these emails, and that's what she was reacting to. And Donna was like, got you, boo. Obviously, all of this was in judicial language. I'm summarizing. But anyway, so they called up Investigator Newland. Now, Investigator Newland is the man who took all of the emails and the divorce binder and everything else. And he went through and he was like, okay, Donna responded to this email. Donna responded to that email. And so we know that Donna received these emails. Okay. And I was just like, okay, emails, whatever. And then he started to go through the emails. Y'all. Who is plotting crimes and doing evil deeds over email? I'm not trying to help people crime better, but I'm just saying, stop. Don't do that, because your emails can be used against you in a court of law. And so the prosecutors, with all their tech savvy, was like, okay, what about this email? Bam. And they will put an email up on the overhead, and they would show scandalous information. And they would be like, this is where Donna responded to it. You see right here, they broke it down. Donna was team Wendy. Obviously, because that was her child. Donna was referring to the children by the Adelson last name instead of the Markel last name. Donna said she hated Danny. Donna did this. Donna did that. And I was like, ooh, Donna, girl, this is not going good for you. This is terrible. And so then when the defense got up, I was like, okay, defense, what do you have to say? And respected attorney Josh Zellman was like, right, but that email address was shared by Donna and Harvey, right? And the investigator was like, yeah. He's like, okay, thank you so much. And then he sat down, and I was like, so you just threw Harvey Adelson under the bus as well. Scoot over, Donna, because now your husband's under the bus with you. I guess that's where y'all want it to be. You want it to be together. Congratulations. Okay. So I was like, okay, he proved that Donna knew everything that was going on. We could see it in the emails. Great. Who's next? Please let it be Wendy. Please let it be Wendy. And then it happened. They called Wendy Adelson to the stand. And I was like, oh my God. Yo, I was like, everybody be quiet. Everything has to stop. I taped the dog's mouth shut so they would not bark. Okay, just kidding, because I love my pups and they can bark if they want to. Anyway, so Wendy marches up to the stand, and she's in her regular testimony uniform. Roll your mind back. If you have not seen the other 4 trials on this, in this saga, where have you been? What are you doing with your life? It's wrong if you have not seen these other trials. But anyway, Wendy always wears a black dress that's like sort of demure, a little bit low cut, because she loves to show off her tatas and her bright blue eyes. Wendy, girl, you couldn't run a brush through your hair. She don't have no good friends. She don't have no good friends. Nobody was like, girl, just a brush, a quick brush. Oh, okay. We're not here to critique her fashions. Y'all are not here to critique her fashions. I certainly am. Because, see, also, this is a gossip channel. Child, this is not the news. Anyway, so I was just like, okay. So they start talking about, Donna, Wendy and Dan met, and they dated, and, they got married, blah, blah, blah. And then she got pregnant and had a baby. They bought a house, all the regular things, right? Meanwhile, Mama Donna was over at her house, keeping tabs on her married daughter. I'm sorry, what? It wouldn't surprise me to learn that Donna was tracking Wendy's cycles. Like, girl, it was 32 days. What's happening? Like, Donna had a little planner where she tracked every single time Danny left town. Let me get this straight. Every time your son-in-law leaves town, you write it down on your own personal calendar. For what purpose? I I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. But also, it's proof that she was way, 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 way over involved. So then when the marriage started to fall apart, Donna was like, okay, girl, I got you. Don't worry about it. I'm going to help you go rent a house so you can leave that Mama Luke. And Wendy was like, thanks, Mom. Allegedly? I mean, this is what Wendy told us, so I guess it's not alleged. And then in one of the emails you see where Donna was like, hey, Wendy girl, listen, I had to call the bank, and of course I pretended to be you, and so I did some banking business. What? Wendy, had you asked your mama to do that, or was that just a volunteer effort? I don't understand. So as Wendy got angrier through the course of the divorce, of course, Donna got angrier through the course of the divorce. Okay, fine. I guess. And then Charlie, Wendy's brother, was like, yeah, I was going to hire a hitman, but I was going to hire a hitman as a divorce president, but this TV was cheaper. Ha, 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 ha. Apparently, that's a joke he told over and over and over again. And then when the TV got damaged, the Adelson parents set up for the Geek Squad to come to Wendy's house and repair the TV, also to provide her an alibi. Now, if you will recall, Donna had her little calendar, so she knew when Dan was going to be out of town. So she was like, okay, Charlie, can you please tell the hitman that he's going to be out of town on this day and this day? So they have to get the unfortunate unaliving done expeditiously because he's leaving town tomorrow. Now, look, that's what I surmise happened, but it seems like that happened. Anyway, so after the unfortunate unaliving, the police go and they find Wendy, and they're just like, hey girl, hey, come on down to the police station. A tragedy has happened. And she was like, oh me, oh my, this is terrible. A tragedy, you say. I will now go to the police. Something about you is real superdy duper sus. And she's just like, okay. So she's in the police station, and she told a couple of different stories in a couple of different trials. If you watch Wendy's interrogation footage, you can see where they tell her that Danny has been shot and is not expected to survive. But then on the stand yesterday, she says she was told in the police car, your children are okay. Your husband has been shot and he's not expected to survive. And she's just like, okay, this is really terrible. And then she calls her mom over the course of this long police interrogation. She calls her mom and is like, Mom, sit down. And her mother's just like, okay, let me put this on speakerphone. Wait, your daddy's in the shower. Wait, okay, I'm gonna put this on speakerphone. Are we to think that Harvey Adelson was unclothed on speakerphone hearing this terrible news? Ew. The wrinklage is too much. Like, okay, I just imagine a raisin body and gray pubes, but okay. Sorry to put you off your breakfast. Anyway, so Wendy tells her parents, and they're just like, oh, that's terrible. What? I'm in absolutely shock and horror. We are going to come and help you right away. Click. You know, Donna was like, Harvey, grab that bag of wash money. We gotta go. Anyway, so Wendy gets off the phone and she's like, okay, so that's good. They sounded surprised. I guess that means that they were not involved. Why would you think your parents were involved, young Wendy? You know this is on videotape, right? We got this on tape and we gonna play it back years from now and you gonna look super duper suspect. Okay, girl. Okay. And so the police were like, okay, so let's ask you some questions, ma'am. Now that you've calmed down a little bit and you've stopped crying about the untimely death of your ex-husband, who would have done this? And she's like, I don't know. It's so terrible. My parents and my brother. But, maybe some other people too. But I think my parents and my brother would be at the top of that list. But I'm glad that they're obviously not. Girl. And so the police officer was like, right, whoever did this should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And Wendy's response, now listen, ma'am, that was a softball question. You're supposed to say, yes, absolutely. He was my ex-husband, but this is terrible. She's like, yes. I mean, unless it was my family. If I thought it was my family, that would be different. But, whoever did this, only not my family. Please don't look at my family. Don't prosecute my family. But anybody else, this would be a terrible situation. ma'am, you're super bad at crime, just super duper bad at crime. And so then the next, in the Jewish faith, you bury your dead right away, right? So he gets pew-pewed up on one day. The funeral is the next day. Guess who was absent from that funeral? Wendy Adelson and the children. You did not. Okay, look. Some people don't believe in having children at a funeral. Okay, fine. You did not take your 4 and 5 or 3 and 4-year-old children to their father's funeral, but you didn't go and nobody in your family went? Girl, you looking super guilty. Okay. And instead, maybe she couldn't make the funeral because she was busy packing her bags and moving down to South Florida like she said she was going to do once he was out of the picture. Okay. And so then the police called her like, boop, boop. Hey, Wendy girl, listen, we noticed you were not at the funeral. Curious. We need to talk to you about getting DNA from the boys, to match things up. And she was like, we have a bad connection, click. And so Georgia Kappelman was like, did you fake the bad connection? And Wendy was like, what? Who? Me? No, of course not. And so she was like, the police never followed up. Now, we know that the police actually did follow up. As soon as that call broke up, Wendy's lawyer called the police and was like, hey, police, hey, if you need anything from her, you're going to have to go through us. Girl, why did you lawyer up immediately after this arrest? Very, very curious. Wendy went on to live with her parents for about a year down there in Miami before she had enough of them. And then she moved into her own apartment. And she's like, my mom was very close to the boys. She taught them to read. She taught them to play chess. She was grandmother of the year. It was all really wonderful. We were a tight, loving family. So the prosecutors were like, right, okay. So, when was the last time you spoke to your mama? And she was like, I think it was like November of 2023, something like that. And I was like, let me do a little math. You mean right before your mama got arrested? Since your mama has been arrested, you have not spoken to her, you say. Oh, that is very curious. Now, one other thing. I answered the questions for Wendy as though she had total recall of all the situations. Let me assure you, she did not. Now, if you recall, when investigator Newland was on the stand, Georgia Kappelman was like, turn to tab 4, turn to tab 7, turn to tab whatever. And he was able to identify all the terrible, incriminating things that Donna had said. Practically every question that was asked by the prosecution of Wendy, she was like, I don't really know. And Georgia was like, oh no, girl, I got you. Tab 24. And she was like, right, let me read it. I'm gonna read it right. Oh, yes, I see where what you said, I said is actually what I said. And then the prosecutor would ask another question. And Wendy was like, I'm not sure. And Georgia was like, tab 63. Child, the way she was rattling off tabs, I was like, her tab game was crazy. Absolutely crazy. I was like, oh, our queen, Georgia Kappelman, is coming through with the total tab recall. I don't even think she had to look them up. I honestly think she knows them off the top of her head. She's like, tab 74 says this, tab 63 says that, tab double J, it says this, and it's highlighted in pink. She has total tab recall. Meanwhile, Wendy, she could maybe use a little ginkgo biloba because her memory was real slick and like, she wasn't home things. She's having some memory problems, but I guess at your mother's murder trial, you will tend to have memory problems. Here's an interesting note about body language though, right? When Wendy walks in and sits down on the stand in her standard, I'm going to trial uniform, her mother was like, now, the judge has already told her, girl, you're going to need to fix your face. Now, what you're not going to do is sit up here and blubber and cry when you see your child. But, because see, also, I still have my gavel and I could bonk you on top of the head. We also have the Act Right installation team from the sheriff's department, and they have full bonkation authority as well. So govern yourself accordingly. So Donna held herself together during the whole testimony. For the most part, she was still going to be Donna. She still had the faces, but she was just like, full face origami, trying to keep herself together. The last thing, or one of the last things that Wendy said on direct was that, number one, she had not spoken to her mother since her mother was arrested. And so Prosecutor Kappelman was like, right, but the last time you spoke to your mama, did she have any special requests of you? She was like, my mother wanted me to be supportive of Charlie at trial. Is that code for lie? I'm just asking for myself. Did your mother want you to get up on the stand and lie on behalf of your brother at trial? And Wendy was like, I mean, she just wanted me to say things that would be supportive of Charlie. Okay. And then Georgia Cappleman was like, did you know before this unfortunate unaliving went down, did you know that it was going to happen? And she was like, no. I would never know not me. Absolutely not. That would be very, very bad. And Georgia Cappleman was like, heifer. I mean, she didn't say heifer, but she came with the spirit of this bisque, thick, creamy soup. Cause we don't call people out their names, right? Right. And then the cross-examination happened. And I was like, honey, okay. What is disgraced judge and funeral home proprietor Jackie Fulford gonna say? So Jackie Fulford gets up there. Now, Jackie Fulford's tab game was not nearly as tight as the state's. She fumbled paper. I think she dropped some on the floor. I'm like, come on, little boy blue. You notice how she dressed like the little Dutch boy? I'm like, she don't have a tailor. I promise you that down there at the funeral home, there is a tailor who can fix her suits. Ma'am, it looked like you're wearing your daddy's clothes or your husband's clothes. It is a bad situation, but that notwithstanding. Ooh, please hold. Disgraced judge and funeral home proprietor, that's her full name, Jackie Fulford, gets up for cross-examination. And she's like, right, so you and your brother Charlie were close. And Wendy was like, we were close-knit family. And she's like, were you close with any of Charlie's girlfriends? And Wendy was like, I mean, he had a whole bunch of girlfriends. They all kind of looked alike, which, by the by, I had not noticed that. But if you think about it, a lot of his girlfriends looked a whole bunch alike. Okay, he had a type. Good for him. And so she's like, I mean, I didn't even really know them like that. Here comes Jackie Fulford. Bam, you see this picture right here? This is you and one of Charlie's girlfriends, Katie McBanawa, the go-between. And Katie's friend hanging out on the beach. Did y'all ever hang out on the beach together? She's like, I mean, yeah. And she's just like, right. But Charlie was not there. And Wendy was like, right. No, I mean, I didn't know her, but I did hang out on the beach with her and go on double dates with her and talk with her and stuff like that. I need to know if Katie's number was in Wendy's phone. Nobody asked, but that's just what I want to know. Jackie Fulford continued to ask questions like, your mom was a great mom, right? And she loved Danny, right? And Wendy was like, yes, of course, absolutely. And then she elicited the testimony like, my mom just wanted Danny to move down to Miami with me so that, number one, I could be closer to the grandchildren. And number two, he can enjoy the kosher wonderland that is Miami. The amount of food and Hebrew schools and other Jewish women and stuff that were down there. Did I mention all the delicious, delicious kosher food? It's Jewish paradise in Miami. And I was like, okay, we get it. There's a lot of Jewish people in Miami. He ain't want to go. So what you gonna do? Anyway, so she was just like, I mean, once the relocation was denied, I was fully accepting of that. But the judge said it was denied with prejudice. And I guess my lawyer explained to me that meant, he's denying it and don't talk about it again. And Jackie Fulford was like, right. But you made your mother sit outside the courtroom, so your mother had no idea that the topic was dead. And Wendy was like, I don't know. She does emotional support preening. Have you seen that? She's just like, I'm not sure. Okay, I don't know what my mom knew. I was like, this bisque, thick, creamy soup. So she was just like, I don't know what my mother knew or what she didn't know. And Jackie Fulford was like, right, that's why your mother kept pushing and pushing and pushing, because she didn't realize that it was a dead issue. And Wendy was like, unclear. Something like that. Again, we're not quoting over here. I'm just giving you the broad strokes of what was said. And then Jackie Fulford brought up this necklace. And I was like, why do people keep talking about this necklace? Apparently, Wendy had a necklace that said, never, never give up. It was this like merchandise from Rick Astley. Never going to give you up. Never going to, not? Okay. Unclear. So she was just like, right, my mom just kept suggesting things and saying that I should never give up. But, I knew that it was a lost cause and I was coming to accept my place in Tallahassee. And I thought maybe it would be okay. Ma'am, the evidence does not show that. But listen, call me crazy. I've just listened to the evidence and watched the trial. So what could I possibly know? And I was just like, okay. And so then apparently Donna Adelson had received all the drafts from Wendy's divorce attorney. And then she would like mark them up and be like, girl, say this, girl, say that. And Wendy was like, okay, I'm going to forward this on to my lawyer as though it were my work. Oh, my mother, she's so helpful. This is a very, very dysfunctional family. And so finally, Jackie Fulford closes out her cross-examination with the following. And I was like, does Jackie Fulford realize that she's supposed to be helping Donna? I feel like she's really not helping Donna that much. In fact, I suspect that Jackie Fulford is secretly working for the prosecution. She's like, you're cute little boys. You're sweet. I'm sorry. The judge told me not to get emotional. But your boys, they lost their dad, not just when they were 3, not just when they were 7, but now and forevermore. He's no longer on this mortal coil, right? And I was like, girl, what you doing? What? I needed help understanding Jackie Fulford's sort of logic here. You're weeping openly over the decedent. And I guess we're supposed to think your client feels this way too, even though we've seen all the emails where she called him every bad name she could think of. She might have had to use like a cursing thesaurus or something to find new words, new terrible words to describe this man. But now you all look, you're practically in the ugly cry talking about him. And then she said, whoever did this should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, right? And Wendy was like, yes, of course. And then Jackie Fulford opened her mouth and said, even if it's you. And I was like, y'all, Wendy girl, how's it feeling under that bus? Now, word on these true crime streets is that Donna was offered a deal if she would give up Wendy for prosecution. Donna could go home. And the rumor further contends that Donna turned down that offer. This is what I need to understand. Why? If you're just going to get up in court and throw your child under the bus, why don't you throw her under the bus from the comfort of the Four Seasons, where there's low carbs and high thread count sheets and probably better outfits than what you're wearing now? I know they got a colorist, they got some Botox. You can get your whole situation together. Instead, you're going to throw your daughter under the bus and still be convicted? Because in my opinion, it's real clear that Donna's going to be convicted. But look, don't go by me. So Jackie Fulford waddles back over and sits down. I'm like, okay, thank you, little Dutch boy. Who's next? And then Queen Georgia Kappelman stands back up and she's just like, hey girl, hey, listen, let's turn to this other email's tab number. You know, she threw out a tab number and redirected Wendy to show in an email that Donna knew. Donna knew that relocation was off the table. And we know that Donna knew that relocation was dead because she said to her friend, dear Gladys, honey, Wendy can't relocate for now. Something like that. Again, not a quote, but just the spirit of what happened. And so then Wendy gets off the stand and I'm like, Wendy girl, now listen, we've seen Wendy testify in every single trial related to this case. And every single time she was unbothered, the epitome of unbothered. You know who was bothered yesterday? Wendy Adelson. Wendy Adelson was nervous. Oh, girl was shook. She's like, look, y'all convicted my brother. And I was like, they ain't got nothing to do with me. Then you arrested my mom. And I was like, my butthole got tight. Now she's sitting up there like, hamina. How many years till will I be able to watch my sons grow up? Wendy girl, this is not looking good for you. It's just not. And then the state of Florida was like, I, Georgia Kappelman, queen of all. Or actually, I think Sarah did the next cross-examination, called Robert Adelson. Yo, I froke all the way out. Ooh, the scream I scrumped. You don't even understand. I was like, Robert Adelson. We have not heard from Robert Adelson since the Over My Dead Body podcast, season 1, episode 6. Robert Adelson and his wife, Haritha, were on the Over My Dead Body podcast years ago, but we have not heard from them since. And I was like, I'm perched. Let me email my boss that I need to take a sick day. I'm not feeling good because I need to see every single bit of this testimony. And so Robert takes the stand. The jury was still out, and the judge was like, Mr. Adelson. Oh, I love this little judge, Judge Stephen Everett. Have I said good morning to you yet? Good morning, chocolatey Judge Stephen Everett. Don't he look like a little milk dud? His head just looks like a little milk dud, or like one of them little malted milk balls. Oh, I love it so much. Anyway, so he was like, Mr. Adelson, we know you think your mama is garbage and she's super duper guilty in your mind, but just be careful. See, also, I got a gavel and I'm not afraid to bonk you. And Robert Adelson was like, yes, Your Honor, I understand. Now, poor Robert Adelson looked kind of like a broken bird on the stand. My heart kind of broke for him. He seemed just like defeated and sad. And I mean, I guess you would be at your mother's murder trial. Now, remember when Wendy walked into the room, Donna was like, ooh, my baby is here. When Robert sat down, Donna was like, George, we in trouble. And to that I said, girl, you are absolutely correct. So Robert sat there and Sarah Dugan got up there and she was just like, okay, tell us your name, how you know all these people, let's get to the juice. In your family, was your mother more of like, a retiring, quiet and shy little housewife, or was she more the leader? And Robert was like, let me carefully say, my mother led, she wore the pants in the family, she walked all over my father and everybody else. Was that too far? Was that too much? No, it wasn't. Okay, cool. And then so he went on to explain that his mother meddled in their relationships, their lives. She meddled in everything. She was very, very overly involved in the lives of Wendy and Charlie. She would have been over involved in Robert's life, but he moved away and cut that madness off. He was just like, And so Robert was asked, does your mother just follow orders? Is she like a willing, compliant spirit? And he was like, no. She does not have the spirit of cooperation. If you ask her to do something, she's going to be like, why? I don't, no. Now listen. I'm not mad at somebody who's not overly compliant. I myself am not a people pleaser. I know it's going to be shocking to you. I know it's going to be shocking, but I am a girl who does what she wants to do. And in that, me and Donna are alike. That's the only way we are alike, because me personally, child, I couldn't do jail. And plus, also, I'm not one to unfortunately unalive people. Now, might I unfortunately unalive your character here on the Tubes of You? Yes, absolutely I would. But your actual human body, no, because karma. Anyway. So, Rob went on to explain, my mom, she hated Danny, like hated him really, really, really bad. And I'm just like, tell us more. Please give us examples. And Rob was like, examples, you say? Remember when Wendy moved out and my mom helped her rent an apartment? My mom went so far as to use her maiden name, Schechter, because she didn't want the word getting around Tallahassee that an Adelson was renting a place. She was like, a Schechter, a random Schechter is renting the apartment, so word might not accidentally sneak back to Danny. And then they were like, what? Danny was out of town. And so Donna was like, what time is he supposed to go on stage? He's going to go on promptly at 4:00. Okay, let's call him at 3:59 and drop the divorce bomb so it could have maximum impact and give him the maximum amount of upset. Right. So Donna was recreationally cruel. Got it. Okay, so now we are getting a real sense of how Donna operates. And Robert was like, she took a lot of pleasure in cruelty. That was kind of her love language. He goes on to explain that my brother Charlie, he didn't care that much. He liked women. He liked fast cars. He liked beaches. He loved the smell of cocaine. He just, he was into other things. I believe he was into the sales and marketing of steroids. He had other hobbies. And we were like, okay. Now, Rob might live far away, but he knows everybody's business, and I personally am here for it. And then Wendy did this very strange thing. Immediately before the unfortunate unaliving of Danny Markel, she's like, Hey, brother. Hey, how you doing? I know me and you don't talk like this and we don't share personal information, but here's a picture of my new boyfriend, Jeff Lacoste. And here's him with the boys. Shh, don't tell mom and dad. I don't want anybody to know that he's my boyfriend. But here he is, even though we never talk about these things. Wendy girl, seems to me like you might have known more than you led on to. Then after the unfortunate unaliving, the FBI visits Robert's house up in upstate New York. And the FBI is like, hello, sir, can we talk to you? He's like, oh, hello, FBI. Please come in. Would you like a cup of tea? Me and my wife will tell you every single thing we know, which is not much. And so they have a nice talk with the FBI because Robert Adelson is a decent human being, which is weird considering he's an Adelson. But I guess, some apples do fall very far from the tree. And so when Donna calls, she's like, oh, hey, so listen, Danny was unfortunately unalive. You don't have to come here. It ain't no big deal. We don't really care that much. Also, if the police call you, don't talk to them. And he was like, wait, what? The FBI has already been here. When the FBI shows up at my door to ask questions, I answer them. And Donna was like, this Mama Luke. Okay, it's not like you know anything anyway, so whatever. And I'm like, real super duper suspicious behavior on your behalf, Donna. Okay, apparently Donna was real matter of fact about Danny being taken off the playing field. Wait, she wasn't heaving and crying and upset because he was so wonderful and she was so sad? Not even a little bit. Okay, and so Donna apparently went on to explain the details of Danny's death. Donna told Robert. So what happened was some dude came and knocked on Danny's door. Boop, boop, boop. Hello, how you doing? And said, are you Danny Markell? And when Danny said yes, the gunman was like, pew, 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 and then ran away. And Robert said, I thought to myself, how would she know that? Because the only two people involved in that transaction would be the gunman and the dead man. And the gunman, nobody had found. It is very curious. And so I was asking myself, and I said to my beautiful wife, Haritha, you think our parents did this? And Robert was laying in bed at night like, my mama done kill people. My mama done kill people. My mama done kill people. Now, I'm not saying that's what actually happened. I'm saying that's the spirit of what happened. And that's what happened in my mind. But okay, Robert went on to explain that Donna and the whole family was wildly and curious about everything related to this crime. So wait. You're a nice upscale family from Miami, and there's gun violence in your family, and you don't have no questions, none. They don't care. They're not helping the police. And anytime it's brought up, they change the subject. Super de-duper sus. Then when the hit people get arrested, Rob, all the way up in New York, hears about it. And he's like, well, I expected my mother to call and be like, baby, they finally arrested somebody. Isn't this wonderful? But the parents never called. And Rob was like, okay, well, me and my wife's wedding anniversary is in a couple of days. So I'm sure when we they call to say happy anniversary. See, also, Donna keeps everything on her handy dandy little calendar. So I'm sure it's going to be good. So when she finally calls for the anniversary, she's just like, hey, how you doing? It's so wonderful you're having an anniversary. How are the kids? Did y'all get a dog? Finally, Rob was like, so I hear the hit people got arrested. Donna has no response. And then all of a sudden, she real busy. She got to go. She's like, I got a kugel in the oven. I got to go. And so she gets off the phone, and they have never spoken from that day to this. Not that they didn't speak about that incident. They have not spoken. Y'all, did Robert Adelson put the nail in his mother's coffin? Donna girl, do you think you are winning at trial? I mean, I know only the prosecution has gone first, and they're not even halfway through their witnesses, but I'm looking at you like, for what? This trial is crazy. Then there was a half an hour left in court, and I was like, okay, I kind of need to know every single thing. What else is going to happen? And so the prosecution was like, we got one little witness. This is going to take a little Scotia time. So we're going to squeeze him in here. So this police officer comes up and I was like, hey there, Officer Friendly, what you going to tell us? And he was like, on the day of the unfortunate unaliving, I was manning like one of the barricades because they had blocked off the street, and I put up police tape, and people would drive up and they would just be like, oh, what happened? Because look, all the neighbors was like, what happened down there? What's going on? Do I know these people? I know people who live on this street. What's going on? And so people would stop and ask questions and look, and then they would slowly turn around and go on their merry way. But then there was this one vehicle, a maroon van driven by one Wendy Adelson. Reportedly, allegedly, it was a van exactly like the van that Wendy drove. And she pulled up, peeked, and then did a quick K-turn and got out of there. Not suspicious at all. The way that the officer remembered this particular van was because he and his family had that same van. And they were like, oh, is this my wife? Oh, no. Somebody else in a van exactly like ours does like a quick exit stage left. Boom, boom, boom. So I was like, this is all super duper suspicious. The prosecution continues today with day 3. Y'all, the way I am living for this trial. I need a note that says I'm on jury duty because I indeed am on jury duty. Now, last but certainly not least, where are you watching this trial? So many people are live streaming this trial. Listen, you watch it where you want to watch it, but some of my favorite places, I am always over there with Crime Junkie Jury. Y'all know how I love me some Miss Brandy Churchwell. Oh, I love Brandy Churchwell. So I'm over at Crime Junkie Jury watching this trial. You can watch it with Grizzy True Crime. Good morning, Grizzlies. Who else? Surviving the Survivor is live streaming it with lawyer commentary. Y'all know EDB got it. EDB has all the big trials. That's right, Miss Emily D. Baker, Pretty Lies and Alibis, Lawyer Lee. Everybody has this trial. But look, if you don't have time for 8 hours of trial, a bunch of us are just recapping at the end of the day. But you know, I give you the gossipy version. It's a bunch of people that want to give you like facts and stuff like that. Y'all, that is not where my gifts lie. You're not here for facts, F-A-C-T-S. You're here for facts, F-A-X. Stuff I heard. Anyway, don't forget to print out your Adelson cheat sheet. A link to that is in the description box of this video. Y'all, batten down the hatches. We're ready for trial day 3. You know how we do. I will see you next crime. Bye.